What does it mean to be called? And how do we know that we're fulfilling our calling? How do we know that we're doing what we're called to do? This is one of the unanswered questions that many students have, and I've traveled the world and I've had so many conversations with students. This is normally one of the top questions that students have is, what am I called to do? Or what is my calling? So today we're going to look into the subject of calling. What does it mean to be called by God? And I hope that today we're able to see that calling is not something that is supposed to heap all kinds of fear and anxiety on us, but rather calling is meant to enhance our relationship with God. I like to compare calling to the day that I proposed to my wife, Crystal. You know, I spent a lot of time and a lot of money buying this ring that symbolized this deep, deep commitment that I wanted to make to her, the deepest commitment that a person can make to another person. And so when the day came for me to propose, to ask her for her hand in marriage, there was a lot of nervousness from my part, and I was pretty sure I knew what she was going to say. So when I went into it, it wasn't as scary as some people. But anyways, I pulled the ring out and I said, "Crystal, will you marry me?" And she emphatically said yes, and she jumped up and she was so excited. And it was one of the greatest moments of our lives. Sometimes I think about, what if her response was something more like, "Oh, Ryan, I could never accept this gift. That ring it costs way too much. I can't accept it." Or, "Oh, Ryan, I could never fulfill all of the requirements that it takes to be married to someone, so I have to say no." That would have been obviously very painful for me, but it also would have been very concerning, because at that moment when I was proposing to her, I wasn't asking her to check off boxes and say all the things that I wanted her to say and do all the things I wanted her to do. Instead, I was inviting her, or I was proposing to her, I was calling her into a relationship with me. I wanted to commit myself to her, and I was asking her to commit herself back to me. And that was my call to her. That was my proposal to her. Will you enter into this commitment with me? The ring has nothing to do with it. It's just a shiny thing that goes on your finger. But what it represents is a lifelong commitment to me. Will you receive that? I think that we've diluted calling in a lot of ways down to something that it was never meant to be. Sometimes we look at it in a way that's just, a career path. Like, what am I called to do? How am I going to make money? Other people look at it in a way that is just ministry. I'm called to this ministry, and they forsake all the other parts of their life as a calling, and they just look at it through this narrow lens of ministry. What if calling is so much bigger than that? What if its definition is all-encompassing? Today, let's look into the meaning of calling. Let's ask Jesus, what does it mean to be called by you, God? Why did you call me? And I think that when we hear from God as to why He's called us, then we can begin to look into the details of what that means and how we're going to live it out.